Criminal record can follow someone for decades, even long after they paid their debt to society. Now, one Illinois lawmaker says it's time the system stops punishing people twice.
Her proposal is gaining rare support from both police and prosecutors. Tonight, our political editor Mark Maxwell shows us the pushback it's facing at the State House.
This is the story of 3 million Illinoisans, citizens whose names bear the mark of a criminal record. The resume comes with a rap sheet, and the burden, it's not just legal, it's economic, it's human. It stalks them quietly in job interviews and leasing offices. It seldom leaves.
Oftentimes people are so desperate.
In Peoria, Assistant Majority Leader Jehan Booth knows these barriers all too well.
We believe that job opportunities, housing opportunities should not be held hostage to a prior offense. So that's really what this is about. It's about helping people to move their lives forward.
Her neighbors described these restrictions that might seem invisible until they started looking for work, only to find how few doors would open.
If you live in Peoria and you have a record, you can't work in healthcare. You can't work at the city. You can't work at the county. You can't work at the federal building. You can't work in education. Where the hell do you work in Peoria?
Of the millions carrying criminal records in Illinois, the overwhelming majority have never been convicted for an act of violence. And under a new proposal, their records, with time and good behavior, could be sealed from public view.
On House Resolution 246.
But there's a catch. The process today is slow, bureaucratic. In a single year, fewer than 6,000 people managed to clear their names. At that rate, it would take more than a century to finish what one law might fix with the stroke of a pen. Booth argues the cost is not just personal, it's business. Workers who are qualified, but disqualified.
Right now we have 277,000 jobs in this state that have gone unfilled.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Her proposal, set to be unveiled on Mother's Day, has drawn support from prosecutors, police, and employers alike, not for what it erases, but for what it protects. The records would not be destroyed, but sealed, placed just out of public reach, still available to law enforcement. The idea is less outright amnesty, more mercy with memory.
Who would oppose something like this?
You know, that's a really good question.
We found the answer just across the aisle in the upper chamber.
You're dealing with a bill that is automatic.
There, a former prosecutor turned lawmaker raised questions not of whether people can change, but whether others might be harmed if the wrong past is kept secret.
They don't want to get people on the right path. They just want to erase the entire criminal history.
Senator Steve McClure warns of risks: a hidden DUI, an unseen fraudster, a quiet danger lurking in places where trust must be earned and verified.
Let's just say it's financial exploitation of an elderly person. And let's say you can now seal their record. Well, what if this person goes to look for another position where they're in close proximity to an elderly person? If a trucking company is going to employ this person, shouldn't they know whether or not this person has a DUI? So there's real issues, not just for public safety, but also for the well-being of very vulnerable people in the state.
Booth cites other examples, less sensational, more common. A scuffle here, a shoplifting charge there, a few pills for some quick cash.
Petty retail theft. Simple battery means maybe somebody got in a bar fight.
Drug sales?
Depending upon the weight, right? If it's a lot of drugs, it becomes federal automatically. But if there were no guns, if there was no violence connected to said offense, that would be qualifiable.
Some objections are not born of politics, but of tragedy. In a nation gripped by addiction, Senator McClure raises a darker possibility, one not easily dismissed.
A drug dealer who gives somebody a drug and they end up killing themselves with the drug, I mean, is that a violent offense or not?
But Booth believes the law must draw a line between danger and error, that some live in fear of judgment long after their sentence has ended.
Because the system is judging them. It isn't a feeling, it's a reality.
At the heart of it, she believes time served ought to mean something.
If you give a person a track to run on and they take off, they're not just changing their life, it's their kids, it's their family.
Today I rise to speak to a resolution that will be filed shortly.
The debate ahead will not be easy. The House floor may grow tense. But for those long held down by their past, Booth believes this is a fight worth waging, when the same system that held them down helps them stand again.
You see the hope turn on. You see people in despair, and you see the hope show up, and it's real.
Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
The specific qualification criteria to seal a criminal record has not been decided. We're told only non-violent crimes would qualify. The deadline to pass this bill to Governor Pritzker's desk is at the end of this month.